Hi, my name is Lee Williamson. Subscribe to Reggae Boys Commentary.
Hi, my name is Joby McAnuff. Subscribe to Reggae Boys Commentary.
Reggae Boys Commentary. Like, share, and subscribe, please.
I'm Javon Watson, and you're watching Reggae Boys Commentary.
Skin clean and nice and ting and ting. I'm Tiffany.
This video is brought to you by Maypen Educational Centre, catering to evening CSEC classes and chess classes. Call 876-337-7374 or 876-775-6692. We got you covered preparing for exams. Andy Gone Nuts, 100% guaranteed fresh coconut water delivered straight to your door. Call 876-309-6128. That's 876-309-6128. Refreshing and affordable. For more information, follow them on Instagram at Andy Gone Nuts. Truly refreshing. And Crumble by Mrs. C. Old English fudge and other delectable sweet treats. Call or WhatsApp 876-586-0471. That's 876-586-0471. Hello everyone, I'm Simon Preston. Welcome back to Reggae Boys Commentary. Thank you so much for tuning in to another video on this channel. As you can see, we have a very, very special guest with us this evening who has decided to give a few minutes of his time. I'm really, really happy and excited to have a chat with him this evening. And it's none other than former Reggae boy, now coach, Byron Marshall. How you doing, boss?
Very good, Simon. Thanks for having me on, man. I
It's a,
appreciate you.
it's a pleasure. Thank you very much. I still have your autograph from 20 years ago. I kept this very, very safe.
Yo, don't show people that, making them think that I'm old, man.
March number 14, same one
Yeah,
all the time. Time
yeah,
flies.
blessings.
Well, how are you? How's the family doing? Despite all the pandemic situation and everything.
Yeah, the family's great, man. I'm doing well. Actually, I'm heading home now from one of my son's training session with the academy. My younger boy, Kingston.
Wow.
He had training tonight, so we are heading back. They had a late session tonight. But
Okay.
yeah, the family is great, man. Everyone's good. Everyone's growing up, and getting big, and they're healthy, and so I'm just, in a good place now with the family and myself.
All right, sounds good. And can you believe that we've basically hit the 10-year anniversary of your last game in MLS with the Colorado Rapids? Time has just gone by so quickly, 2012
Yeah,
last year.
yeah, that's just one of those things, man. You look back in the time because I get a lot of these reels on Twitter, and it goes back in time with the galaxy and all these things, and it just shows me the memories. So yeah, it brings me back, man. It's making me feel old every time I see these clips, man. But I appreciate those good times, those memories for sure.
Absolutely great, great ambassador you have been for the country. And speaking about the experiences that you've had coaching, how much have you relished this opportunity, with Cincinnati, last year as interim and now with the second team?
Yeah, look, for me, it's been a blessing in a sense because ultimately I've always wanted to be a head coach. I always wanted to lead, and getting the opportunity, first of all from Real Salt Lake, to continue my journey in the coaching realm, in the professional ranks, and then years, and learned a lot under some very good coaches. Jeff Cassar, Mike Pecky, and Freddie Juarez were the three coaches that I worked with. And, now getting the opportunity to, spread my wing. And I came over to Cincinnati to obviously pursue my head coaching career. Got the opportunity to work with the U19, the academy team, obviously because the second team was not formulated yet or wasn't put together yet, so it was still in the process. But it was a great opportunity to come here and start the groundwork, the foundation of integrate myself with the academy and knowing those young players, because ultimately those were the players that were going to make up the bulk of our MLS Next Pro team. So to identify those talents and the players who were coming through the ranks in the academy was important. And so with that being said, I thought it was a good move for me, and getting in and start establishing that platform and foundation, and then obviously getting the call to take over the interim position with the first team. Didn't really expect it, but when opportunity comes, you can't complain. You just have to embrace it, and that's what I did. I thought getting that chance to lead a MLS franchise, the MLS club, and again, it was all about my development and showing the rest of MLS that I can lead a team, and hopefully given that opportunity, again starting from where you can build a team coming in and you can imprint your style of play and your principles. I think that's what I would like, and hopefully they can take away that from the opportunity that I had.
Yeah, that's absolutely brilliant. One person that you had the privilege to play with for both club and country was Omar Cummins. Is he still associated with FC Cincinnati behind the scenes?
No. Yes, Omar Cummins is. He actually works in the outreach program with FC Cincinnati, the community outreach program. And I try to encourage Omar to come by as often as he can, just to, so I can brag and tell some of these players that, man, you have a great forward here, with Omar Cummins. Just to kind of put him on the spot sometimes, But, he wants to get into the coaching ranks, and I keep encouraging him to come out there. But obviously, the work comes first, and whenever he has some free time, he try to pop in once in a while.
Okay, that's good. That's good. And in terms of the FC Cincinnati and like the MLS Pro teams, is it like a situation where you could talk to Pat Noonan and say, "Hey, Pat, I recommend this guy moving forward, or these two guys moving forward"? Is it something like that with the MLS Pro teams or second teams of these MLS teams?
Yeah, so it's something along that line. What happens is, we have our players that's in the MLS Next Pro, obviously needing time. This is a platform for them to grow and develop that professional, attitude and mentality. And then, if they're developed enough and, we recommend say, hey, look, this guy is ready to make the step. Obviously, because Coach Pat or, Chris Albright, who's their GM, these guys are watching our games all the time and they're keeping track of what's going on with the players and the personnel. So they are aware of which players are ready to make that next step or progress. So yeah, it's something along that line that you're saying, but obviously they have to be ready and we try to make sure that we're putting the right players in that position that they can make the jump in the MLS environment.
Okay, that sounds good. And in relation to the experience you had at Real Salt Lake, Andy Williams was there as well for a period of time as well. The Real Salt Lake, when you go to Rio Tinto, it was just such a intimidating place to go. Away teams, it was hard to go there and even get a point. So what sort of atmosphere was brought that made Real Salt Lake almost unbeatable at home?
Yeah, I think the fans obviously play a big part in it, and also I think the altitude. Playing above sea level. I think that was a big part. Coming into Rio Tinto, teams used to fly in 2 days before, so on and so forth, and they didn't really expect the altitude to hit them so hard. And with us, knowing that the altitude would hit them, we tend to come out on the front foot really quick. And by the time teams are losing 2-0, 3-0, and it's really difficult, especially coming from sea level and try to adjust right away. It's really a tough situation to play in, and I think we took advantage of that. And also, I think the fans were, they're very involved. They do get on the opponents and try to intimidate them in terms of just the noise and the atmosphere that we have. And, I think we also have our song that we sing before the game, and during goals. And so it's a really intimidating environment that we've created. And, ultimately, I think also we had some quality players, like you said, the Andy Williams who were there, the Javier Morales, Sabarillo, those guys, the Amason Olave, Nicky Ramondo, Kyle Beckerman, that's some great players that I'm rolling off here that played in that environment and were very instrumental, in establishing that type of dominance there as well.
Yeah. And I know you have a lot on your plate with coaching and family responsibilities, but do you get the time to catch up with what's happening on the island with the national team? You get to watch games on the TV or stream it online with the national team, the Reggae Boys. Do you get to catch up with that?
I try to as much as I can. I have Shavar Thomas is here with me now on staff, right? So Shavar Thomas, who I play with, and Shavar is starting his journey in the professional ranks too with the MLS Next Pro. And so, we try to as much as possible, to keep, an eye or be vigilant on the national team. Because, look, for us as ex-Reggae Boys and Jamaican players, we're always trying to find that next talent that we would like to, give that opportunity to establish themselves here. If not in the MLS Next Pro, probably in the MLS. So yeah, I do keep an eye on the Reggae Boys and their progress for sure.
Wonderful. All right, that sounds good. And Tyrone, there's been a lot of people on the island that that have admired the work that you've been doing. Have you ever been reached out by anyone in the organization locally at the GFF to perhaps help out or be part of the coaching staff in the future?
No, I have not received any formal invitation to help with the Reggae Boys, but I've always said, my door is open, any type of invitation, and I know a lot of other players too have always echoed that sentiment as far as, willing and able to help whenever they can in whatever capacity. obviously, with the coaching and all that stuff. And again, it also depends on the right, setting. Because, if a coach is coming in, and he's have ideas and who he wants to bring in, if he's bringing in his own staff, then it's difficult. But if you have someone who's willing to embrace the boys or the players who have come through the ranks or who have played with the Reggae Boys, and willing to give them the opportunity to come and bring back the knowledge and the experience that they had to help in the development of the program, then absolutely, yeah, we're willing and able to do it at any time.
All right, that's wonderful. Sounds good there. You spent all of your career as a player in the MLS. I'm curious, did an opportunity ever present itself to go across the Atlantic, over in Europe or the Far East? Did an opportunity ever come your way as a player?
That's a great question. And I had a few opportunities, and it was unfortunate for me. I think Gillingham I had an opportunity to go and try out for Gillingham. And this is when I was playing with the LA Galaxy at the time. And, back then, at the time that Gillingham wanted me to come across, it was in the middle of my season. And I unfortunately picked up an ankle injury when we played the Korean national team. Because I think that was like 2002, they were preparing, or 2001, they were preparing for the World Cup, somewhere around there, 2002. And we played Korea in California. And during that game, I picked up an ankle injury, and I was supposed to head out to Gillingham to play, to train within the next 3 weeks or so. And unfortunately, it didn't happen where I was healthy enough to go over there, and it just didn't work out, And then, kids start coming along the way, and all these other things that start to come into the picture, and it just seemed like it just wasn't meant to be for me, in terms of making that jump to go to Europe. It was unfortunate because I would have loved that opportunity to show and to see if I was, capable of performing in that environment, in that stage, which, ultimately I know if I had the opportunity, I would have potentially flourished, given the chance.
Absolutely, you would have definitely matured, especially with how you played into your late 30s and even started and captained the national team. What do you put that longevity down to? Is it the way that you trained, what you ate, or a combination of everything, why you were able to go on in your mid-30s?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of everything, just being able to stay healthy, not having any, knock on wood, any major injuries that set me back, but also that the desire to want to play, wanted to be on the field, wanted to be part of the group, wanted to be, a winner, so to speak, and I think those attributes fuel, my intentions of, wanting to play all the time, because I remember as a young kid, that was one of the biggest things. My outlet was playing football. If it's on the street, wherever football was playing, I would want to be there. If it's using a box ball, the guy and get the paper and they stuff up the box ball and they throw it out and go play scrimmage or, solid kick, that's where my, that's where I wanted to be, in that environment, And so just that passion of always wanted to play and always want to be, a part of, the team environment. I think that's what drive me, to stay, the longevity and being for so long, and just staying healthy too, and being a real student of the game and being passionate about it. All of those things tied in, created that longevity for me, in my career.
Mm-hmm. And it's evident because you made yourself available almost every time that you were fit, whether it's Caribbean Cup, Gold Cup, friendlies, you were always there. Whether we're playing Cayman or Brazil, you were there for us. So it showed that, the commitment was there and you had the patriotism was there for your country to take the field,
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look, man, I was born in Jamaica. I grew up in Jamaica. I know what it was like, going to play in Duane Park, and people looking at you like, yo, what a white boy I got, and all that, and just hearing those criticisms, But you know what it was, man? It was a passion and pride. My dad played, with the national team, and I always felt that, that patriotism, like you said, that pride when I put on the national colors, going back and play. And just to give you a quick story, along that line, I remember my first game in Jamaica, right? And we're playing at the National Stadium, and I was warming up, running over to cycle track back and forth, and you could hear the people in the.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Not sure what's happening here, but hopefully it improves.
It's like they would have crumbled under the pressure. But with that being said, the game started, and this is how I won over the crowd in the bleacher. I remember Bibi Gardner was on the left side, and you can look. I think the game was like 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening in the National Stadium. And when the sun dropping behind the grandstand, you can't see nothing if you're playing on the right back. And I was over that side, and boy, I tell you what, when I look across and Bibi at the ball, and I was wide open, and I said in my head, yo, Bibi, don't kick this in because I can't say nothing. And when the man look, my son Bibi comes and I swing in peg, and the ball will start come cross, and I'm here alone over the right side. And I tell you what, man, when I put it down and it does dead, you hear the bleachers, ball, and that was it. That was the calming influence, and after that it was done. But again, with that story, I always tell people, if you weren't from Jamaica, you wouldn't understand. Winning over the bleachers was the biggest thing for me, because you establish yourself, and the man them know say, yo, the youth you can play. And the common people them, you have to know them are the man who in the street and knows the football thing how it go. And when you see a man who can play football and do them thing, yeah man, them are the people you get the respect from. And that, I think that game for me, was the game that definitely put myself on the map for know that anytime I go to Jamaica, I'm welcome, I can do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, I understand what you mean, man. But we have to talk about that goal that you scored, man, because when Barry Hills was fouled and the game against Trinidad at the stadium, the qualifiers, and you took possession, I was expecting the referee to blow his whistle, but you continued on. Did you see Shaka hit off his line why you said, let me just go for glory and see what?
No. I remember that goal like it was yesterday. And the reason why I continue playing, because going back there was a play previously that I end up in the box for some reason, right? And I tried to turn and kick. And I remember I kicked and the ball is barely trickle. And I said, no man, this is not me. And I said, the next time I get this opportunity, man, I'll kick the lights out of the ball. And so said, so done. I was fortunate enough that I followed the play. I was in tune with, I think it was Dean Burton and then Darren Powell. And it just happened to pop out at the right spot, and I was continuing my run towards the inside, it's underlapping. And I saw the ball that sat down nice. And the next thing I know, I just put down my head and said, you know what? I'm just going to let it unleash. I don't know if it was Shaka, whoever might be in that goal. They need 3 of them. I don't think anyone was going to stop that ball that day, man.
No keeper would have saved that day, trust me. The post still rocking until it's very day, trust me.
No, for sure.
That was
I keep telling my kids, they keep saying that, you can't kick, you can't score goals.
What?
And I say, I wish I had that goal that I can, it's clear. The image is clear where you can see everything how it broke down. Just to show them sometimes, I say, your father could play a little bit, don't worry now. Although you see me in my old age here, can't run and thing and that, but back in the days, your father could have do some things, man. So don't worry about me,
Yeah, man. And there's other goals online. Them can look at the Costa Rica one, the Trinidad one, and the Bahamas one. So there's some that can see the surge into the box and the headers,
Right. Yes. That was a great game, the Costa Rica game when Rene just came back to Jamaica. Yeah. I remember that game, like you said. For some reason I can recall these games like it was yesterday. When you're playing these big moments and you score goals and you did some fantastic things, you can recall those things like it was, yesterday. And I remember that moment. I think it was, King that crossed the ball, and I remember getting into the box, and I hear I hear Pepe going say, yo, like him shout. I'm going to say, hey, no man, I'm on this and a boom. So said, so done, back of the net. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So again, some great memories.
Yeah. And it's interesting in that career, the 10 years that you played for Jamaica, you played under Clovis, Rene, Lazzaroni, Carl Brown, John Barnes. So different styles, different philosophies, different ideas coming towards you. So would you say you pick and choose a little and you use that into your coaching career now?
Absolutely. I think the other day, a gentleman was doing an interview and he's like, who are the coaches that influence your career? And I remember saying something about a little bit of Rene Simone's, his intellect and his way how to manipulate the players in terms of their thought process. How he used to relate things off the pitch to situation on the pitch. And how that helps some players to visualize and associate themselves with, like, okay, if this person did this, I could do it. Or if you're on the field, you could do the same thing that guy did. For example, he brought up the situation about if you decide that you're a reserve player, then you're always going to be a reserve player. If you think like a starter, you'll always be a starter. And him telling me about this the goalkeeper that was playing in Central America, for example, South America. He was a backup keeper, and he got an opportunity to jump in the game and play it. And in the stands with some scouts watch it. And after the game, so the man go to the club and him go through preseason and everything. And the day the coach ready for put out the starting lineup and put down the name of the keeper, and the keeper said, "Hold on, coach. Question. You put my name in the starting lineup." Coach said, "Yes, that's why we brought you here." And then the goalkeeper said, "No, man. I thought I was brought here to be the backup." Again, it goes along the line of, if you think like you're a backup, you're always going to be a backup, And so that was one of the messages Renee sent our way. And I always remember that vividly. I even preach that to my players now. If you think like you're a starter, you will be a starter. So you have to prepare yourself like you're going to start the game. But if you prepare like you're going to back up, you're always going to be a backup, So, again, those are some of the things I take away from coaches over the years that have, worked with or played under. It's just some of those inspiration and some of these moments that I thought were huge, in all the development of, the players and their psyche.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's quite a story. It's really, really an interesting one. So, there was a time in 2007, 2008, you were at Toronto, and them time the
Correct.
Donovan was attracting interest from Toronto and LA. Is it true that you told him to go to LA over Toronto?
Yeah.
You gave him a
100%. Yeah, 100%. Wow. I told Donovan I think the best fit for him would be LA. And the reason why I said this, because I'm saying, Donovan, if you want to have a career where you're going to get notoriety, and coming from England at the time, I think he was coming in. I said, look, for me, going to LA, with the coaches, the environment, I think that's a great opportunity for you, to showcase your talent, but also you're going to be, in the spotlight all the time, and I think you're going to love that environment. Not to say that Toronto wasn't a fantastic place, but Toronto was just developing. They're just, trying to find identity, and I'm in an environment where they're still figuring out the pieces and the parts. You want to go to a club where it's established and it has tradition. And it also have a guy named David Beckham that was there, and Landon Donovan. I'm like, you're going to win trophies. You win championships. So you want to go somewhere where you're going to win championships, man. So, I advised him to go there, and it ended up working out for him. He got goalkeeper of the year like twice, and he did some fantastic stuff there.
Yeah, it was a wise decision. So we thank you for helping him to make the right decision, Because I was wondering why you wouldn't want you. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was wondering why you didn't want your fellow countryman at your club, but then we see you go to Seattle, so I said, "Oh, okay," Yeah.
Yes, correct. I know I was looking to move back to the States. Look, Canada at the time, Toronto, I appreciate the time that everybody that influenced on my, time in Toronto. I appreciate that. Nothing against the club, but the club was going through a developmental stage. They were trying to, bring in the right parts. So it was like a revolving door in the early stages, right? They were trying to see the right fits. And so you see a lot of players that have gone to Toronto, it's like a quick stop and they're out. And I didn't want that for Donovan. I think coming into the MLS environment, I want him to get to a club if he had a choice between Toronto and LA. I'm like, hey, LA would be the best fit for you, man. I think you get that chance. And then knowing that I wasn't going to be there as well, I didn't want to tell him go somewhere. And, I'm like, LA would be the best thing for you, man. Again, another Jamaica, another fellow teammate, I want them to get a good opportunity and a good experience in the league. And I think he made the right choice by going there. And, the rest is history.
Yeah, and once again, we're grateful for you that you made the right decision, because, as you said, 2 goalkeeper of the year award and the 1 MLS Cup or one at a time. So it paid off in the end,
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, 100%, man. Glad for Donovan.
Yeah, great career that he had. But it looks like you had fun in Seattle too. It looks like watching it on the TV, seeing the stadium, seeing the jersey. It just felt like an atmosphere, like an event to go to. Going inside that arena where Seattle plays their games. Freddie Montero,
Yeah,
Casey Keller, yourself. It felt like an event that you're going.
yeah. I tell you what, Seattle came really close to replicating, if not replicating, the environment in Europe. You come there every game, it's 30, 40,000 people. It's just the excitement of being in that environment in the stadium. You feel the electricity. You want to go to play. When you go there, you still feel the butterflies in your stomach. That's how the environment was. Just again, electric. You feed off the energy. You want to win games there. And we were fortunate to make the playoffs in the first year. We won two Open Cups. We won the Open Cup the first year, and then the second year we won the Open Cup there in front of the crowd. So there's a lot of good things good memories that I can recall, from that stadium. Also, we played some big teams as well that came through, the summertime and played. We played Barcelona, against Lionel Messi and Thierry Henry, Yaya Toure. All those guys came through, played in Seattle, and then the other season we played against Chelsea with the Balak and the Anelkas and those guys that were there. So, my time in Seattle, man, was really, 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 exciting and, a really good time for me, in terms of playing football and just being in an environment that, we felt like the MLS has now arrived on the international stage, where people always say, man, MLS, boy, it's a retirement league. But, that playing in Seattle really make you feel like you're a pro, a pro in the United States of America.
Yeah. Yeah, that was quite an experience that you had there. In terms of, with the national team, after, you retired, central defense was always an area that we are looking to strengthen and improve. Mariappa right now, he came a little after you and he's in his late 30s now. And central defense is an area we're always trying to improve. What are some of the pieces of advice you have for young defenders on the island? Because, opportunities are opening up in USL, some in Eastern Europe. Just your 2 cents on defenders on the island.
Yeah, my 2 cents for the defenders on the island would be, obviously you have to become a student of the game. You have to embrace, understanding, how to defend 1v1 situation, reading the game when the ball is not in your vicinity, again, being engaged, where, for example, the ball is not around you, but being engaged where you can push your lines up and, there's being really a student, of the game, especially a center back, and also your techniques, having the quality for first touch, the long ball, the medium range ball, the switching the point of attack, working on those, attributes, those qualities, both feet, cleaning those touches, right? Speed of play, all of these things that are going to be, huge in terms of their development. I watch, Damian Lowe with Miami, Inter Miami, and you can see some of the qualities, that Damian has. He's always developing. And one of the big thing I would say with Damian is sometimes, he tends to be a little bit aggressive, which you get that from the Jamaican, right? Just from the background, but I think, man, Damian has grown and he's come a long way in his development. And I hope he continues to develop. Although he's playing at the pro level, you always have room to improve and develop, and I hope he continues that. So for the younger players, look to emulate some of these guys who have played in the years with the national team, or also who are playing on the international stage. Guys you can watch on TV, the Van Dijks, those type of players, that you can look and say, man, this guy has quality, and try to see how they go about their game. How do they, approach the game? How do they, when they're playing the game, what are the things that they're doing? Constantly have their heads on swivel, looking across, making sure they're like that. So if they can become students of the game, and become, really immerse themselves into it, I think those are the things that the players in the islands in Jamaica on a whole need to continue to get better at, and improve their quality.
Okay, and just one more question before we log off. Thanks for your time. I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Somebody in the
absolutely,
comments,
absolutely.
yeah, man. As someone in the chat asking about your son Kingston, how is he progressing? In terms of the academy, how is he doing in terms of his development as a player?
Yeah, so I have three boys, right? The first one who is playing with me actually right now with the MLS Next Pro, Morgan. He is my oldest boy. He's a 04. He's actually done well. He has had the opportunity to come now with the U20s earlier. Unfortunately, because of his schooling and everything that was going on, he was unable to come to participate. But with that being said, I have Kingston, my other boy in between, Marley. My middle boy, he's a 05. He's playing up with the U19s at the moment now. He's progressing well, doing well. And Kingston, who is a 08, midfielder, he's actually, their season started up over the weekend, but his progression is getting better. They're improving. They have a lot of way to go in terms of where they need to be, to make that jump onto the MLS Next Pro, right, stage. But his progression is getting there. They're doing well. I'm really excited for where they are at this moment, and I can't wait to sit back in my chair and just watch them play some good football and say, boy, look, yeah, man, I think I did well in terms of the product, the offsprings.
Definitely. Well, you've been an outstanding ambassador for our country, both on and off the field, playing and coaching. Really, really appreciate your time. Continue to stay safe and continue to make our country proud. Really, really appreciate it.
Hey, Simon, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate having me on, and as usual, Jamaica, you believe Jamaica, so I always appreciate the moment to come on and just talk and just share my stories, and hopefully it can inspire some of those young men out there, who want to become professional footballers or who just want to be good humans in life. It's a good thing to have, So I appreciate your time and appreciate you getting me on, man.
Much appreciated. Have a pleasant evening, and we'll be in touch, my friend. Take care.
We can big man. Blessing. All right.
Yeah, man. Cool. Yeah, man. There you go, guys. Tyrone Marshall there speaking to us. It was an insightful interview where he talked about many different areas. For those of you that just tuned in, he spoke about in terms of he's not been contacted by the JFF, but he has said that he's open to that privilege if it comes his way. He is always ready to call on for his nation. We all know that it would mean residing in the country. As a technical part of the technical committee, Rudolph Speed has made it clear that the next head coach, whoever that might be, must reside in the country. So that is quite clear. That person has to be within the country. And Tyrone Marshall wouldn't have an issue doing that if he was given the job on a full-time basis. I'm pretty sure that he wouldn't have an issue with that. Everybody knows that Jamaica would be your sole focus and your sole responsibility, and that is quite fair. That's how when you're dealing with a national team, you have to be engaged with all stakeholders. All stakeholders are important. You have to talk about the corporate Jamaica. You have to think about the media. You have to think about the JFF admin, the fans. Do you remember René Simoes, how engaged he was with all stakeholders of the country? It's similar to, if you guys have watched Ted Lasso, I encourage you to watch Ted Lasso, because it's the same sort of effect. Every successful coach respects all stakeholders. I'm not saying that they're giving an interview every 5 seconds, or I'm not saying that they're going to shake hands with corporate directors every 5 seconds, but they have a respect for them, and they at least show that dignity. Theodore Tapper Whitmore didn't answer the phone calls of broadcast entities. He never answered his phone calls and didn't respond to WhatsApp messages to 98% of those individuals. You know what I'm saying? Didier Deschamps does. Yeah. Gareth Southgate does. Yeah. You get the picture? Roberto Martinez does. Louis van Gaal does. Those are individuals that are international coaches that have high respect for all stakeholders involved. And you know what makes success? I wrote this down, and I think it's important that I share it. Yeah, now's the time. Now's the time. To have success in any international tournament, you need to create the triangle. And what is a triangle? This is the triangle. This is the triangle. As you can see with the triangle, you have the airport, the hotel, and the stadium. Why am I showing you this? Well, it's quite clear. You see, Gareth Southgate, Roberto Mancini, yeah? Didier Deschamps, Giovanni Trapattoni, and many others. Del Bosque recognized the importance of the triangle. And the triangle is important. So let me explain. The airport, once you arrive in that country, you go to the hotel. Yeah? From the hotel, you go to training. You go back to the hotel. From the hotel, you go to the stadium for game day. After the match, you go back to the hotel. And after that, you go to the airport to go to your next destination. For success in international teams, the airport, the stadium, and the hotel must be no more than 20 kilometers apart. If you're going to have success in any international tournament, the airport, the stadium or training venue, and the hotel must be no more than 20 kilometers apart. And I'll tell you that there has been situations where we've had situations where an airport is a 2.5-hour drive from the hotel with the national team. I can tell you that 2016, the Reggae Boys arrived in Santiago, Chile, and drove to a hotel in Viña del Mar. 2.5-hour drive from the airport. Granted, the training venue was within 20 kilometers. However, the airport was quite a distance. So I hope you understand the point that I'm trying to make. The coaching element, recognizing all stakeholders involved. That is one aspect. And two, respecting the triangle. The triangle is key. The triangle is important. The triangle leads to success. France, 2018. Germany, 2014. Spain, 2010. Feel free to look at where they were based for those World Cups for 2010, 14, 18, and see how far their hotel was from the airport and to the stadium/training venue. It was not no long distance. That was respected. That was appreciated. That was valued. And that was something never ignored. Success it's not always tangible. It's not. Success is a bit deeper than that. It includes a lot of different elements towards it. Much others. So I'll leave this with you. The next head coach, whether it is Paul Hall, whether it is Lars Lagerbäck or Jaime Hallgrimsson or Ian Cathro, or Jürgen Klinsmann, must acknowledge and respect all stakeholders. Fans, corporate Jamaica, PR, broadcasting, JFF hierarchy, every citizen of this country. Rennie Samois knows patois. Rennie Samois did deals with airlines so that we could have a situation where those situations are not a stress. Rennie Samois went into high schools, prep schools, primary schools, outreach projects, humanitarian stints, showed his face with corporate entities, took pictures, had luncheons, buffets, went to these corporate events. I'm not saying it happened every day. And I'm not saying that it happened every single week. But guess what? There was respect. A great deal of it. Something that others in the past did not show special attention to. The person that some people call such man is, I still don't know what such man means. But if somebody wants to explain what such man means, then go ahead. But Theodore Tapper Whitmore, he made himself available for corporate entities. But did he answer his phone whenever persons wanted to do an interview with him, or did he respond to messages? The answer to that question is no. Winfred Schaefer, the man before him, he always did interviews, and he always showed up for corporate functions. What was the relationship like with the fans? I would say it was decent. I don't think he fully immersed himself in the Jamaican culture. That's my opinion, and that's not something against him. The time was just limited to get everything done. But there was room for improvement there. The man before Schaefer was Tapper. The man before Tapper was John Barnes. John Barnes was getting there. And if he had a little bit more time, all the pieces would have come together, but he was only in the job for less than 10 months. The man before John Barnes was Tapper. The man before Tapper was Rennie Samois. Rennie Samois had all aspects together. But he came in February 2008, the year of World Cup qualifying. It was too late. What he wanted to do, it needed more than 6 months. Honestly, he needed more than 6 months to get it done. Honestly, it was just, the time wasn't enough. The man before Rennie Samois, Bor Milutinovic, he was doing all of those elements, but was only in the job for 1 year. The man before Bora, Carl Brown. The man before Carl Brown was Wendell Downswell. The man before Wendell Downswell was Sebastian Lazzaroni. Right? You guys remember Sebastian Lazzaroni, right? Our first ever win on Central American soil in World Cup qualifying. Yep, came from 3-0 victory. You guys remember that, right? I'm sure you guys remember that. 3-0, Micah Hyde, and a brace of goals from Marlon King. Yeah, so it wasn't a... His time was brief as well. Very, very brief. Not long at all. The man before Lazzaroni, Carl Brown. The man before Carl Brown, Clovis. The man before Clovis, Lazzaroni. The man before Lazzaroni, Rennie Samois. The man before Rennie Samois, Carl Brown. The man before Carl Brown, Jeffrey Maxwell. The man before Jeffrey Maxwell, Delroy Scott. The man before Delroy Scott, Ali McNabb. The man before Ali McNabb, Carl Brown. The man before Carl Brown, Jackie Bell. The man before Jackie Bell, George Prescott. The man before George Prescott, Omar Calda. The man before Calda, George Prescott. The man before Prescott, George Thompson. The man before Thompson, George Hamilton. The man before George Hamilton, George Penna. The man before Penna, Antoine Tassi. And the man before Tassi, George Penna. So there you go. There you go. Tuchel filed by Chelsea said he was distracted by admin issues. JFF need to sort out the backroom issues pronto. My friend, Donovan. It is what it is. You know? But we must move on. We must progress and advance. We seem to do well under Brazilian coaches. Outside of René Simoes, I mean, under Lazzaroni, we only lost one game in that spell in 2004. But I mean, I wouldn't consider the spell that we had under Clovis as an impressive spell. I think there are good results, but I wouldn't call it an impressive spell under Clovis. But it's amazing that since independence, we've had Brazilian coaches in the setup, from Penna to present, you know. But Penna had some good experiences with Nigeria and with Jamaica. Real good experiences. Did you guys know that Lazzaroni was the head coach of Qatar's national team? Yep, he was head coach of Qatar's national team. And did you know he was also Brazil's head coach? Yep, he was Brazil's head coach and led Brazil to the Copa America title in 1989. He was also head coach of Brazil for the 1990 World Cup, you know. So he was an experienced individual. Clovis had experience with Trinidad, Tanzania, Jamaica, Brazil women. I mean, we know the full story with René. 70 later this year. It's coach Honduras, Costa Rica, Jamaica, Trinidad, Iran's under 23 team. Also led Brazil to second place at the Olympic Games. That's their women's team. He's had success. Good success. And Winfried Schaefer right now, he's 72, and last club he was at was Al Khor over in Qatar. Yeah. Get a competent GenSec. Good coaches need support. GFF admin setup depends on a competent GenSec to do the paperwork, etc. Yeah. I suppose that is an important factor to bear in mind. That's true. That's true. Jarvis Paris says, big up, Simon. Big up. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. So, as I said, I hope you guys were able to listen keenly to what Tyrone Marshall had to say. He mentioned some excellent points. But what we're going to do right now, we're going to take a quick break. Well, not right now, but shortly. We'll take a break quite shortly. You got any idea as to when the GFF will appoint a coach? The JFF appointment for the new coach will be made before the Argentina fixture. The appointment will be made before the Argentina game. Can't wait to see the squad for the Argentina game. Yeah, if it's not announced by tomorrow, then it will be announced next week. I did admin for the 1989 Caribbean Cup in Jamaica. It's not rocket science. I see signs of organized chaos. That was many moons ago, you know. That Caribbean Cup campaign. That was the first ever Caribbean Cup, you know. That experience, Jamaica defeated Guadeloupe 1-0. Drew 0-0 with Dominica and drew 1-1 with St. Lucia. So Jamaica, well, they lost 3-1 to Guadeloupe, lost 1-0 to Antigua. So they didn't make progress in that competition. It's unfortunate, you know. Really unfortunate, Donovan Phillips. I'm at work, but have to jump on for a few minutes. Thank you, Jarvis Pirates. Hope you're doing well. Guys, if you enjoyed the interview with Tyrone Marshall, hit that like button right now. 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 All right? Hit that like button and don't forget to like, share, and comment to the channel. All right, guys? Don't forget to do that. Michael Sadler says the JFF needs to become a professional organization. Guyana gets 6 with Walter Boyd. Simon, we won in 1989. No, we didn't win the Caribbean Cup in 1989, my friend. Trinidad and Tobago won the Caribbean Cup in 1999. Jamaica's Caribbean Cup victories came in 1991, 1998, 2005, 2008, 2010, and 2014. But let's go for a break. I'll be right back, guys. Nature calls. This video is brought to you by Maypen Educational Center, catering to evening CSEC classes and chess classes. Call 876-337-7374 or 876-775-6692. We got you covered preparing for exams. Andy Gone Nuts. 100% guaranteed fresh coconut water delivered straight to your door. Call 876-309-6128. That's 876-309-6128. Refreshing and affordable. For more information, follow them on Instagram at Andy Gone Nuts. Truly refreshing. And Crumble by Mrs. C. Old English fudge and other delectable sweet treats. Call or WhatsApp 876-586-0471. That's 876-586-0471. This video is brought to you by Maypen Educational Center, catering to evening CSEC classes and chess classes. Call 876-337-7374 or 876-775-6692. We got you covered preparing for exams. Andy Gone Nuts. As I said, Jamaica won the Caribbean Cup 1991, 1998, 2005, 2008, 2010, 2014, 6. 1993 we didn't win. We were runners-up that year. So, must say 1991 you're talking about, because 1989, Jamaica didn't win 1989, my friend, unfortunately. But yeah, that's how it is. But yeah, I remember that 6-0 game against Guyana. I say it like I was born them time. Walter Boyd scored in that game. He also had goals from Paul Davis, Roderick Reed, Gainer was on the score sheet, and Palmer. So yeah, it was a good win, good performance. Is Hector gonna get a club? He will get a club eventually. Yeah, he will. Eventually. Trust me, he will. Trust me, he will. Donovan Phillips says true. Yeah. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this live that we've had. Hope you have enjoyed the support. Really, really appreciate it. You know, my good friend Ryan says he wants to chat with me for a few minutes, so I want to have a chat with him too. Pre-1970, Jamaica had club football, then it went to community. Now the cycle is heading back to clubs who are more efficient than JFF. Club football is community based. You know, football is the working class man's game. So I don't have an issue with football being community based. I have no issue with that at all. Arnett, Tivoli, Waterhouse, Portmore, Boys Town, Moby, I have no issue with that at all. Flankers, I have no issue with that. Lilliput, I have no problem with that. You know what I'm saying? But let me know your thoughts in the comments below, guys. Let me know how you really feel about this. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Ryan LFC wants to have a chat with me. Looking ahead to the next couple of games. So we look forward to that. Yeah. But listen to this interview with Tyrone Marshall. You'll hear things that you'll be extremely passionate about. Trust me. You'll enjoy it. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe to Reggae Boys Commentary for more content. Take care, everybody.
This video is brought to you by Maypen Educational Centre, catering to evening CSEC classes and chess classes. Call 876-337-7374 or 876-775-6692. We got you covered preparing for exams.
Andy Gone Nuts. 100% guaranteed fresh coconut water delivered straight to your door. Call 876-309-6128. That's 876-309-6128. Refreshing and affordable. For more information, follow them on Instagram at Andy Gone Nuts. Truly refreshing.
And Crumble by Mrs. C. Old English fudge and other delectable sweet treats. Call or WhatsApp 876-586-0471. That's 876-586-0471.